everybody, it's the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial from the Helsmiths of Hashut. Yes, we are here with the big dog, or bull, himself. We are here with Urak Taar, the first Daemonsmith. The sort of, well, I guess the centrepiece faction leader for the Helsmiths of Hashut. The Games Workshop have very kindly sent me early to build up and paint with all of you, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. So without further ado, we're going to jump in and we're going to start painting him. Now we're going to take it in sections. We're going to do the Infernal Taurus first and the throne, and then we'll do the Daemonsmith himself. So primed in grace here, and the colour that we're going to be using first is some thinned down Castellax Bronze, and we're going to be applying this over top of the wings. It's really as simple as that. And we're just going to be applying this over the top of the, well, for lack of a better word, membranes of the wings. And because so much of this is metallic, I almost thought about not calling it Contrast Plus painting video, but it is. We're still going to be using contrast, of course. But because we are using a layer paint here, a lot of our metallics are based in layer, well, all of our metallics are based in layer paints. Some of them may require 2 thin coats just to make sure it's a nice and strong, steady coat. If it does, that's okay. Just want to build up a really nice colour here. And then once that's all done, we'll come back. So with that Castellax Bronze all applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Agrax Earthshade to 1 part Lahmian medium mix, and we're going to use this to shade the Castellax Bronze. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Runelord Brass. We're basically going to apply this over top of the rest of the model. The only places we're not really going to be applying this are the kind of, well, these, and the hooves. And of course, Urak Taar himself. But don't worry, we'll get to him. In fact, you could just wait until the next clip to see where we've painted all of this Runelord Brass. And once again, if it takes 2 thin coats, that's okay. Don't worry about that. So with that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 1:1:1 mix of Gryph-Hound Orange, Fyreslayer Flesh and Lahmian medium. And we're going to apply this over top of all of the bowl and the Runelord Brass. Now don't worry if it's not particularly smooth, because after this we're going to be doing a lot of relaying. What we want to do is we just want to start getting that kind of sort of fiery orangey quality into the model. So with that all done, the great relayering begins, because we've got to do some relayering on the wing membranes and on, obviously, on the body as well. And we're going to be just using the same colours as before. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking some Runelord Brass here. I'm going to use this to relayer the flat areas of the Infernal Taurus. Just like that, creating a lovely shiny bull with that orangey fiery centre. So with that all done, it's looking pretty shiny. But what we're going to do next is we're going to take some thinned down Castellax Bronze, and over the flats of the wings we're going to do the same thing. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to dry brush the entire lot with some Canoptek Alloy. So with that dry brush all applied, we're now going to take some Fyreslayer Orange. We're going to fill it down with 4 or 5 parts water to make it really runny. And inside all these kind of runic areas around the bull, what we're going to do is we're going to just drop this in. So for example here on the neck. Just like that. So with that all done, we're now going to move on to a different colour at long last. And it's going to be some Black Legion. And we're going to apply this over top of, well, the horns, hooves, and that spike on the wings. And with that Black Legion all applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to do a bit of blending across the metallics, because well, we need to do it and we're putting it off. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Fyreslayer Flesh. And what we want to do is we'll just create some little patches of sort of volumetric highlighting almost. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by applying some Fyreslayer Flesh like this around the face. Wash the brush, touch off the water, and then blend it. Same thing on the other side. Wash the brush, touch off the water, then blend. Just like that. We're also going to do some just in here, like so. Do some across the top of the nose. Like this sort of thing. Now the box art's quite useful for this. So I'd recommend just going around and just adding just a little bit of extra colour just to kind of take the edge off of that shine. Like for example, up on the wings, we can apply quite a large thing of Fyreslayer Flesh coming down like so. Wash the brush, touch off the water, and blend. Just like that sort of thing. And so with that all done, we're going to add a little bit of extra shadow on the underside of the bull by taking some Cygor Brown. I'm going to thin it down with roughly 3 parts Lahmian Medium, so 3-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Cygor Brown mix. And just on the underside of the bull, we're going to add this. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Gryph-Hound Orange just on its own. I'm going to apply this over top of the eyeballs. Like that. And with that all done, we're then going to take some Aeldari Emerald. I'm going to apply this over top of the gem on the forehead of the bull. With that Aeldari Emerald all applied, we're then going to take some Drakenhof Nightshade. And we're going to apply this over top of the black details. Whilst we wait for that Drakenhof Nightshade to dry, we're going to take some Briar Queen Chill. And we're going to apply this over top of the tablet. Still waiting for that Drakenhof Nightshade to dry. We're going to take some Cygor Brown and we're going to apply this over top of the seat. And we're going to apply this over the top of the banners. With that Cygor Brown all applied, we then take some Terradon Turquoise. And we're going to apply this over the top of the remaining area of this kind of I don't know what you'd call that. But what we're also going to do is we're going to apply this over the top of all the little dangly bits here off the edge of the throne. With that Terradon Turquoise all applied, we're then going to take some Poxwalker and we're going to apply this over the top of the tablet. And so with that all done, we then take some black Templar and we're going to apply this over top of the Terradon Turquoise. With that all done, we're then going to take some Yriel Yellow and we're going to thin it down with roughly 4 or 5 parts of water. Again, make it really, really runny. And on the runes on the horns, we're going to drop this into those. And then next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take a really small amount of Fuegan Orange, and over the top of these runes that we did the yellow, we're going to apply this. So with that done, our next colour is going to be some thinned down Retributor Armour. We're going to apply this over top of basically all the remaining metallics on the bull. So this is going to be these bits here. And we're just going to skip over the book for now. Like so. It's also going to be over the top of these bits up here. And the trim of those banners. So with that all done, we're now going to shade it. Well, usually we've used in the Helsmiths of Hashut Guilliman Flesh, but in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Fyreslayer Flesh. We'll use this to shade the Retributor Armour. With that shading all applied, we are quite a considerable way past War Hipster Battle already, so we're just going to continue on. And we're going to now work on Urak Taar. And the colour we're going to be using first for him is some Sigvald Burgundy. And we're going to be applying this over top of his cummerbund. That's Sigvald Burgundy all applied. We're then going to take some Cygor Brown. We're going to apply this over the top of Urak Taar's robe. Whilst we wait for that Cygor Brown to dry, we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade. We're going to apply this over top of Urak Taar's skin. With that Agrax Earthshade all applied, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil and we're going to apply this over top of his beard. And with that all done, we're then going to take some Druchii Violet. And we're going to apply this over top of the Cygor Brown robe. And we might as well apply this over top of the Sigvald Burgundy as well. Just to add a little bit of extra depth. Next up, we're going to take some striking Scorpion Green. And we're going to apply this over top of all of this mess up here. Next up, we're going to take some Briar Queen Chill. We're going to apply this over top of the orb at the head of the staff and over the top of the pages of the book. whilst we wait for that Briar Queen chill to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Wyldwood, and we're going to apply this over the top of the grip of the staff. And with that all done, we're then going to take some Black Templar, and we're going to apply this over the top of his horns. So with that all done, we're now going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Black Templar and Lamia Medium. We're going to use this to do some blending on all the smoke and things. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by applying this towards the base of tip of the mess, like so. Going to bring it up to around about there, like that. We're going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and then we're just going to blend it into the striking scorpion green, like so. We're then going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Like so. There we go. And then what we're going to do is, following the box up, is we're going to pick some areas to do some more swirly stuff. So for example, there's a big swirl around this kind of blob. So we're going to apply this like so. And then we're going to blend it on either side. Just like that sort of thing. And the other thing we're going to do with this is we're also going to apply this over top of the head of the staff. And so with that all done, we then take some Sigvald Burgundy, and towards the business end, we're just going to do the same thing but on the tips of the lightning. And so with that now done, we're going to take some Poxwalker. I'm going to use this over the top of the orb at the top of the staff, and we're going to use this over the top of the pages of the book. So we're all that mess now battle ready. We can take some Reikland Fleshshade. We're going to use this over the top of Urak Taar's skin. With that Reikland Fleshshade applied, it's still drying a little bit at the moment, but that's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to once again take our 1-to-1 mix of Black Templar and Lamia Medium, and we're just going to go in here around the back, sort of half stipple this on. Bring it down the arms a bit. Like so. Then we're going to wash the brush. Touch off the water. I'm going to almost lift the paint off along the arms. So with that all done, we're now going to go back to a paint we used right at the beginning, which is some thinned down Castellax Bronze. I'm going to apply this over top of his two little bits of armor. We're also going to apply this over top of the cover of the book, I guess, is what you'd call it. I was going to call it a casing of the book, but it's not a casing, is it? Either way, I'm sure it's a real page turner. And whilst we wait for that Castellax Bronze to all dry, we're then going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. And we're going to apply this over top of all of our remaining details. So with our metallics now blocked in, we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Cygor Brown to 1 part Lahmian medium mix, and we're going to apply this over top of the Castellax Bronze. And with that all done, we then take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian medium and Fyreslayer Flesh. We're going to apply this over the top of all the gold. And with those shades applied, Urak Taar is now at what I would call a full War Hipster battle ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to take him to the next level now. I'm going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a highlight, and it's going to be some thinned down Russ Grey. I'm going to use this to highlight the black details on the bull. So with that Russ Grey all applied, we then take some thinned down Fenrisian Grey. I'm going to use this at the sharpest points of those black details. So for example, just there and there, like that sort of thing. But what we're also going to do with the Fenrisian Grey is we're going to use this to highlight the orb at the top of the staff. Like that sort of thing. And we're also going to use this to highlight these little doodads hanging from the throne. With that Fenrisian Grey applied, we then take some thinned down Corax White. And we're going to use this to add some little spot highlights to the sharpest corners on the orb on the staff. Like that sort of thing. But we're also going to use this Corax White to highlight his beard. So for our next trick, we're going to take some thinned down Administratum Grey, and we're going to use this to highlight Urak Taar's horns. And so with that all done, our next colour is going to be some thinned down Carex stone. We're going to use this to highlight Urak Taar's flesh. This is going to be a lot more impactful on his back, where we've got the darker patches. We just want to get this over the top of all of it. And with that Carex stone all applied, we then take some thinned down flayed one flesh, and we use this to add some little spot highlights to all of that skin. With that flayed one flesh applied, we then take some Berserker Bloodshade, and we apply this over the top of his bottom lip and tongue. Whilst waiting for that to fully dry, we're going to take a teensy tiny dot of Evil Sun Scarlet and we're going to apply this over the top of his eyeballs. And with that Evil Sun Scarlet applied, we take a tiny little bit of Screaming Skull and we use this to pick out his little tusks and teeth. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker. I know we haven't used any other silver, but what we're going to do is we're going to use this to pick out the little studs on the banner. Like that. And we're also going to use this to pick out his rings with a little highlight. Just like that. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Emperor's Children and we're going to use this to highlight his cummerbund. Just like that sort of thing. However, what we're also going to do with this is we're going to use this to highlight little spot highlights on the purple of the lightning. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Blood Reaver Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight both the banners on the back and the robe of Urak Taar. And so our next colour is going to be some thinned down Moot Green. We're going to thin it down just a little bit more than we would normally, and we're going to use this to kind of relayer, blend and highlight the greener parts of our smoky mess. And so with that all done, we then take some thinned down Deepkin Flesh. I'm going to use this to add some, kind of like some spot highlights to all the lightning and swirliness. like that. But we're also going to use this to highlight the pages of the book and the tablet. Okay, so with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Runelord Brass. I'm going to use this to relayer the flat open areas of the gold. Like so. And we're going to use this to highlight those three little Castellax Bronze areas that we shaded with the Cygor Brown. And so with that all done, we then take some thinned down Canoptek Alloy, and we use this to highlight all of those gold details and those bits that we've relayered with the Runelord Brass. Just like this sort of thing. And with that Canoptek Alloy applied, we take some Aeldari Emerald. We apply this over these two little gems up here. And for our final paint on him, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Lugganath Orange and we're going to thin it down with sort of 4 or 5 parts water. And we're going to do kind of like a spot highlighting of all of these hot magma areas. So basically what we want to do is we just want to pick like little areas at the sort of pinnacle of things and just drop it in. So like for example, just there, like that sort of thing. And because it's so thin, it will just run out and it will create a lovely kind of natural source of wavy heat. So with Urak Taar, the first Daemonsmith all finished, he's looking absolutely wonderful. I'm really proud of how this one's come out. I think it looks absolutely stunning. So, even if I do say so myself, what we're going to do next is we're just going to very quickly work on the base. And we're going to start off with some Wyldwood, and we're just going to apply this over the top of all of these trees. And with that Wyldwood all applied, we then take some black Templar and we're going to apply this over top of the large rock. And so with that all done, we're now going to take some Astro Granite and we're going to apply this over top of all the negative space on the base, and we're even going to just take this over the top of all the soil. It's just easier than colour matching. With the contrast paint. And with all of that Astro Granite applied and dry, we're going to take some Targor Rageshade. I'm going to apply this over the top of all of it. Well, all the Astral Granite. And so to finish off that base, we're going to take some Tyrant Skull. And we're going to dry brush the whole thing. And so with the base now complete, it's the same style as the rest of the Helsmiths of Hashut that I've done so far on the channel. And well, I mean, look at him. He is absolutely enormous comparatively to the rest of the Helsmiths of Hashut model. And it's really fun to do. It's actually not that difficult. I'm really pleased with how it's come out. I hope you really enjoyed this one, and I hope you find it useful painting your Urak Taars. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.